Hi everybody, I'm Jessica Olson. Welcome to the continuation of discovering highest values for you and your kids. Today I'll give you 5 more questions to ask of yourself and your kids to discover highest values. Now, as I had mentioned in a previous video, if you answered all 10 of these questions, 5 from last week and 5 from this week that I'm going to give you today, if you answered all those questions in terms of your highest values, then I'd say you're highly congruent. And what does that mean? Well, being highly congruent means first that you've identified what your highest values are. And secondly, it means that you're also living in your highest values. So it's a little rare to see someone who is 100% congruent, but it can happen. Now, doesn't it make sense that high achievers are probably also going to be highly congruent? It can be a little hard to pull them away from doing their highest values because that's naturally what they want to do. And that's kind of a clue for the rest of us on what our highest values. It's just the things that we naturally want to do anyway. So knowing our highest values is going to be a huge step in the right direction to becoming high achievers, right? And when you're living in your highest values, or at least working towards living in your highest values, you're going to have the greatest advantage in life and the greatest fulfillment. The sooner you know your highest values and what's important to you and what's important for you to do in life, the sooner you can make goals that you want to achieve that are in those highest values. Now, if there's any question about what is your highest value or purpose, even after answering these 10 questions, here's a couple more pointers. Okay, number 1, notice if you ever get a tear in the eye when you visualize or talk about or even watch a movie or even run a movie in your mind's eye for that matter that touches your heart in such a way that it brings a tear to your eye because you're so inspired in both your heart and your soul. Dr. DeMartini says it's worth documenting when you experience a tear in the eye because it's highly likely that it does have something to do with your purpose or highest values. And secondly, your highest value or purpose can keep popping up throughout your life as if to say, hey, I'm still here, what about me? While it's waiting on you to get whatever other experience in life that you thought you needed to do out of the way. Okay, last week I gave you the first 5 questions for discovering highest values for you and your kids, and now, drum roll, here are the second set of 5 questions, starting with number 6. Ask yourself and your child, what do you like to spend your energy on? Notice that things that are low on our list of values, we don't have the energy for. And things that are high on our list of values, we have plenty of time for. And like that, everything that's high on our values actually gives us energy because we're so inspired. Now notice that when we're doing something that we highly value, we often have more energy afterwards than we did before because we love it so much. And we get all jazzed up and inspired. And kids, you know, are much the same way. Our kids can get really excited and energetic for things that they like to do, right? Okay, question number 7. Where do you have the most order and organization in your life? Take an inventory and notice when something is important to us, we suddenly get very organized. And when things have a lower priority, we can allow that disorder to come in and even chaos to occur. For example, have you ever noticed when a guy loves his tools, he may have them all hung up and categorized just so in his garage? Or when somebody highly values their office space and everything is set up perfectly. Kids sometimes are a little young for this kind of distinction, but I remember when my daughter Melanie was only 5 years old and she loved her music videos and she had them all stacked up. Michael Jackson was on top, Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, because Michael Jackson was the one that she watched the most. Now for you, think about it. Is your organization in your garden, in your home, in your finances, office, maybe a spiritual ritual, or maybe even your social calendar? Gradually start to notice and share with your kids where they naturally maintain their order. Number 8, what inspires you? Who and what inspires you the most now and in the past? Dr. DeMartini, author of The Values Factor, And my main resource for these 10 questions says, quote, figure out what inspires you the most and you'll know what you value the most. This is so true. Question number 9. What are the most consistent long-term goals that you have? Recall the goals you keep thinking about or that keep popping up for you. And where are you slowly but surely making progress? Revisit this question with your children as they become more and more aware of their highest values and as they become familiar with the idea of having long-term goals that are connected and congruent with their highest values. Very important. Number 10, last but not least, what do you love to learn about the most? Ask your children, what's your favorite subject? And notice, when they enter a bookstore, what section do they ask for or gravitate towards? As for adults, just notice, what do you find yourself thinking about and wanting to learn more about, or maybe taking classes in, for example? Okay, these are the 10 questions. Once you start discovering your highest values, just give yourself permission to explore these areas even further. And keep asking these questions and stay dedicated to what's most important to you. Also, as I said, notice, what is it, or can you notice anything that brings a tear of love and gratitude to your eye because you're so inspired? Please subscribe to my channel and leave any comments or questions you may have in the comment section below. And be sure to tune in next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.